Tango con lo que tengo.
I'm Blas Rivera, broadcasting now our second season podcast named Tango con lo que tengo. I'm still here in the neighborhood of Santa Teresa in Rio de Janeiro, very close to Corcovado. Tango con lo que tengo. First of all, I confess, I'm more than 20 years. This is the moment when my mom shows up and says, no 20, but 9, my son. Thanks a lot to all that have visited our market. Thank you for the messages and, of course, all presents you've bought. I also realize there are still many doubts. Here's some. 1. All vegetables or fruits, meaning CDs or groups of 3 thematic podcasts, or even personalized podcasts, go to the client in a virtual way, by phone, WhatsApp, or email. Number 2, you do not have to pay or leave bank information or any other information on the page. You just get in touch with me and we'll do it directly. 3, we're putting more new stuff on the shelves, fresh stuff. And 4, we will send the chosen gifts right to you or even to your beloved if you say so. Okay, attention, this podcast comes with video. I mentioned John and phonograph invention on the last chapter. Long time ago, at the beginning of 20th century, John was a great English violin player. He used to perform in concerts, marriages, ballrooms, and parties all around. And what happened? A spectacular invention showed up, something that would change music story in Earth forever. The phonograph. John lost all his gigs as a musician and started to work as an electrician in the Navy. One day, one of these ships took him down to New Zealand and he stayed there forever. He settled down in a little town called Nelson and soon his soul started to bright again. His first job in Nelson at the unique and tiniest cinema in the city, comping silent movies with his violin. That is the greatest expression of improvisation and creativity. You have to give life by yourself with only one instrument, an hour and a half of kisses, runnings away, cakes up on your face, mysterious lookings, more kisses in black and white killings, Indians with makeup, suffering grandmothers, orgiastic parties, and ending great embrace with the prettiest girl in the neighborhood, while the audience cries. And how much time did the musician have to study these unending symphonies? Nothing. He could only watch the film the day before, while the cinematograph operator was putting pieces together, cutting meters of erotic scenes, burned parts, or some kisses with tongue that could risk the local family's morale. John was a hero of improvisation. John brought his 2 children, Peter and Mary, to New Zealand. Both inherited passion first and their father's job later. Mary studied violin and Peter the piano, and they played together since the age of 12 years, now as a real band, 2 instruments. Every single day at Nelson Movie, both kids put music to the feelings, or let's say sound to the pictures, or sense to the movies, or more, emotion to the faces, color to the black and white. C major for love, D minor for goodbyes, and E flat diminished to the traitors, or simply all together, 79 years later, I was invited to play in a festival in New Zealand, where Nelson, of course. And not enough, I was introduced to Peter already at his 91 years old. We had tea at his house, with a little whiskey, of course. We had a lot of fun playing on his great piano, and I got to know his dad John's complete story. He told me the secrets to put music on sad scenes, all tricks they had with his sister when they had to make silence. Also when violin cried to make the audience get tender, and then showing a baby crying sweetness. Laughing, he showed to me the percussion tones on the piano for the military attack. He was always sympathetic with the Indians, but even with his piano help, Indians could never win a single battle. And this way, in a world of complete improvisation, they start to create certain patterns, tricks that help us to breathe a little, because scenes do not wait. They come all together and fast. Whole tone scale when we remember or imagine something. For mystery, very long dominant arpeggios. Silence, almost never. Only when Mary looked at me with that face, he said. For scenes with children, always high notes and very consonant, even when they are bad kids. Mourning, not pain. Mourning, always below central C, low, and in very slow tempo, like walking in a funeral. Directors never thought about which musician would be performing at each movie hall. They didn't care what Mary or Peter would invent. Today, our feelings are patronized. Music comes already calculated many months before. Let's say a Russian construction worker, widow and 60 years old, who lives in Mexico, or a 27-year-old married Bolivian dancer living in Budapest. They both listen the same thing when Al Pacino kisses Michelle Pfeiffer. Well, not in the past. It all depended on which musician would play each evening, what instrument he would perform, where he had grew up and studied, how this specific musician interpreted an Al Pacino kiss. In that past, the dancer and the construction worker, even they had watched the same film, left the cinema with completely different ideas. Music, in secret, unconsciously, had built two very different films for both. We used to take long walks around Nelson Hills with Peter and his retriever. He always whispered to me melodies his sister had created just to transform an ugly monster with big ears on a sensual guy. Always minor scales, of course. I thought I knew something about film scoring. Come on, what incredible master classes. So one day I couldn't stand it anymore and put my silent movie idols all together. Nosferatu, Dracula, King Kong, and another with two pals dancing. I put them all together into the same pot, I mixed them up and created this: Tango, Romance, and Eternity. 1 week later, Peter was sitting at the same hall that he, Mary, and their dad had played. Mixed among the audience, he listened and laughed a lot while I was surviving playing on the very same piano he had performed many years ago, but this time also with some percussion and my saxophone, live, playing for my dear monsters. So, here we go, just a humble piece of tango, romance, and eternity, dedicated with much admiration to the heroes, John, Mary, and Peter, who bravely survived to phonograph and gave so much music to many construction workers and dancers.
con lo que tengo.